If I don't push the chair out of there, I'm gonna get yelled at. First, we're gonna go through A. How you do the small things is how you'll do everything. A ledge like this, which I can only kind of do. A, make sure your whole edge is covered, and just roll this top spot. So now you don't got to worry about water dripping anywhere around here. I'm gonna tuck it a little bit up here. I'm gonna keep that rolled edge up there because that's where most of the water is gonna come through.
The same thing with all of them?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The better these are lined up and not sticking up, you don't got to worry about it hitting your film, excess water getting all over the place. Now you have to wiping something and now you're slowing yourself down. So I'll start from one edge, I'll work my way all the way over, side by side. That's why I've always been a big proponent of making sure these are folded before you even go on a job. All right, seeing that we have so much space, what we're going to do, I'm going to pull this over. Because it's always the corners.
They get the most water.
Exactly. So if you're going to have any extra towel poking up anywhere, that's where you want it. You don't want it sitting like this. These windows are forgiving, so you don't have to worry about it too much. But if you just do this on every window, when you get to a window where it does matter, it's just second nature. You're just gonna do it that way. How you should do it on the hard windows is how you should do it on every window. God, these towels suck. All right, there you go. You want this as flat as possible, so if your pattern is long, it's like if you have this sticking up like this, it's all bunched up. When you go to push your film in, you're rubbing it across the towel now. All right, so every job is going to be different. The first thing I saw you do the first time was you sit there and you blew out all your edges, which is the correct thing to do. But when you know a window like this, you can look at it. The biggest problem area that you want to clear out is going to be, yes, your bottom. Your sides, you don't want to sit there and bury a nozzle and bury water into there. That water's got to come out somewhere at some time. If you're sitting there, if you're having the issue with your edges where you keep getting a bunch of moisture in them, it's because you're burying too much water behind your edge. So how you just wet it out was perfect. Stop. One tip I'm going to give you, put that edge into that corner. Now I'm scraping beyond my edge. That makes it to where I don't necessarily have to worry about burying the water in there, is to know that that little piece of the blade is getting right behind there. Every corner. I'll start off my windows by doing that on every edge. And then, just exactly what you're doing, then do that. Because now you've hit all your edges, now you're just filling in the box. Now this is a window you can get away with not doing that, but again, prep a window as if it's the window you have to do it on. The more reps you do it like that, the faster you get with it. So when you do come across a problem house where it's caked with dirt or whatever, you already prepped that way. So it's already human nature or second nature for you just to do it that way. Yep. Perfect. All right, so that's why you have dirt in your window. You skip the step that you can't skip. Microfibers are good for what you're doing right now. Wet. If anything, you're doing this wipe, yes, to get the dirt off and you're drying off that outside edge. But after you get done squeegeeing, you need a new paper towel. You need to clear out that edge. You're letting water sit in there with dust and knows what else. And that's exactly the reason why you had dirt in your last 2 windows. Because you had some speckling.
So you use the paper towels?
Oh, absolutely. I never don't use paper towels. I always use paper towels. Josh might differ me on that, but 4 championships, 1 championship. Kind of tells itself. In my eyes, that's what paper towels are for. Like, it's one of the main things they're for. A new one, I take one, I clear the top, I go down the side. Throw that on the ground. Grab a new one, I clear the side, I go through the bottom. And then when I get to that bottom, I hold it there, make sure I get any water out. Now I know my edge is completely dry.
And then you squeeze it?
No, it's done. That's ready to go.
Okay.
You already squeegee. So I'm fine with this step. Like I will say I don't do it that often, but it depends on how dirty the window is. Like I'll use this, yes, I'm drying out this edge, and I'm using the excess to dry off the outside of the edge.
Yeah.
And also wipe away any dust or contaminant or nonsense that's on that frame. Now I'm gonna squeegee, and I'm still gonna take that paper towel, and I'm gonna dry out, because you squeegee across this top, that's gonna get clear, but there's still water sitting up there. Okay? So squeegee now. So, one paper towel. And just like you're using that microfiber the first time around, same thing. You're cramming it in that edge, and one clean stroke all the way to the side and down. Yep. And then the other side. And then when I get down to this side, I'm going to try to hold there. I'm going to dry out as much water as I possibly can. Yep.
And I saw you leave it there.
Huh? Well, that was because it all depends how much water's down there. I'll take a look as I'm pushing over, because you can watch while you're pushing through. Like you can see the water kind of moving. You see that? I'm trying to get it in there as much as possible. And if you leave it there, it's going to slowly start soaking up more and more. It doesn't even have to be across the bottom. That water is going to sit there and travel. If you put a paper towel, see how it's all going towards the towel? I don't have to wipe towards it. So when you are getting that wipe across, hold there, make sure that corner is cleared out. You can see it's cleared? You're good. All right. Yeah, but see, like even this. You see that? Don't want that. You gotta get another towel to go through, that's fine. There you go. Now we're dry.
I think these are the ones that I didn't reverse roll. Or I reverse rolled. The liner's on the other one.
Nah.
There's 2 of them that I rolled wrong.
All right, next thing, you're not wetting your film. As soon as you lift that corner up, you need to wet your film. Don't drag your dry hands across that glue. Again, that's a good way to get contamination. And the only time you drag your fingers across something is if it's wet and your hand's wet.
one?
You gotta get it in place first. It's nowhere near in place yet. Make sure, especially with flat glass film, you gotta make sure that is in place beforehand before start squeeging, especially with how your bottle's soaked right now. Because as soon as you go to tack, and if you're having troubles fighting it, you didn't wet your window enough. Yeah, now I'm using my blue squeegee to, nope.
You go south.
Yep, I never push up. You push the water up, it's gotta come down. So you just pushed a bunch of water into an edge for it just to drain back down into your film. You can clean the edges as good as you want. If there's any dust up there, you just forced it into your window.
You should never, when you see, you should never squeegee up.
No. I don't ever squeegee up. It's very rare that I do. And if I do, it instantly comes up with me going up and then pushing over to the side.
And then you seal the edge?
Yep. I want you to complete the T though. You're not at the point of not completing the T. So I want you to clear your top, set your top, squeegee down the center with your power squeegee, That blue squeegee is literally for edges.
You don't use a hard card ever?
No. Sure don't. You can push too far. Never push into an edge. You need to push about right there. You need to leave an edge. Because as soon as you did that, it pops back up. Any dirt that is down there just gets sucked into your window. So you never want to go down into an edge. Never push into an edge unless it is a cut edge. Because you go at about, right about there. That far up. Because now I'm not worrying about it retracting back up. Because we're creating a suction cup. If we pushed in and lift, it's just sucking anything up there straight into your window. You can get away with it on this this type of window, but majority of windows you're not going to get away with it. All right, you didn't reposition your towel. You should be going straight into the top. Don't slice. Nope, I said don't slice.
Don't slice?
No. See how much water is coming out of that when you do that? That slice ain't doing nothing. All right, and again, back to how you do the small things is how you do everything. Nice and flat. I'm gonna use this. Look, I'm gonna use every piece of real estate. I'm gonna do on that edge first. I'm gonna move it over just a little bit. I'm just looking for a dry edge. That's where I don't blow through paper towels. I use the living hell out of my paper towels.
So this is where
And then I'm gonna keep doing that. I'm gonna keep repositioning. It's the only way you're gonna guarantee you get all this water out of here is if you're using a dry edge.
now it's good?
Yep. What I would do, this is way too much down here. I would sit there, give yourself about an inch. I'm gonna trim off that extra piece. Now there's less to screw with. Hold your finger there on your, yep. You're angling too much into the frame. Don't angle that much into the frame. Bring it back a little bit. Yep.
Even with slate? With the darker films?
Huh?
Even with darker films?
Yeah, I can still get a tight edge squeegeeing that way.
Did I mess up there?
He went up. Shouldn't have went up. See, now see that water coming down? So you just planted a bunch of water up in the top edge that could possibly give you issues. It's probably not going to on this window, but other window systems, it will give you issues.
10 years ago, you'd have got it.
Well, push it, Sal.
Much better. Oh, bad. Here you go.
What's the reason? Why do you use the car squeegee?
Huh?
Why do you use a blue squeegee in the car?
I think it's better.
Yeah.
I think I get better contact, better pressure. Again, you're not, no. See it? Dude, you need to be extremely focused on the fact that this front edge, this needs to be, it's not going to do its job if you don't have it firmly against your card. Because then you can actually get pressure throughout the whole card and dry at the same time. This is a very important step that you need to make sure that you're always readjusting your paper towel while it's nice and tight. Don't let it fold up on itself, because if you bunch up right here, when you push, I'm getting a lot of pressure on this one point, but I'm not getting it across everything. See, that's the reason why I don't cut that 45. See how you pinch your film all the way through?
Yeah.
That's why you don't cut like that. So whenever you're putting paper towel on, it needs to be methodical. Nice, flat, even tension all the way across. The better you do this, the better it's going to do its job of drying this edge out and getting the pressure you want on your tint to actually dry it out. Using a blue squeegee or this is no difference. I'm just used to using my blue squeegee. That's a tool that I'm used to using. I like using it. I think I can get better pressure on it. This is more cut for auto in my eyes. I leave a long nose in auto. For flat, I have maybe, it's not quite 90. It's probably like right here. Like pretty much like that, because that gives me two very strong edges to push in. In my eyes, I can get a lot more pressure with this than I can with this. But that's how I feel about it. Now this is definitely something where it's whatever you feel comfortable with. If you feel like you get better pressure with a hard card, by all means, use a hard card. Not gonna change the difference of what we're trying to accomplish here. But like for me, when I'm putting this here, I ain't getting my corner. When I'm putting this on here, my corner is buried in that corner. I'm getting much better pressure in there in my eyes. So that's why I use it. But you should be able to use the same, because I use this whole edge, flip it to the other side. Make sure your tension's nice and tight. It should always be tight like that. Don't slice. Slicing's not gonna seal your edge. You should be going flat into your edge all the way around. You're too vertical. Flatten it out. Yep. Yep. There you go. Now it's like you had a bunch of moisture there. You just got it all out by doing it like that. There you go. And also what slicing can cause, if you like say were to slice through this, you're going to push this water through there. And if there's dirt in there, it's going to suck dirt up and it's just going to drag dirt through your whole bottom window. You want to go straight down and lock that edge. That's where we're losing water now. Damn.
What?
Nothing's leaking.
On the backside?
Yeah. I plugged the holes, it's just overflowing. This is something that we're gonna have to figure out. Ooh. Oh, thanks, bro. Nah. Thank you, though. No, my fat ass needs to start watching my diet. I gotta remember I'm mic'd up. Is there a paper towel on that?
No.
They better be.
Just tap one off, dude.
Oh, okay. That makes it more excusable. That's fine then. There's gotta be what I meant. Okay, so what I meant to say, there's a barrier between that card and the tint, right?
Yeah, like if I ever see moisture, I would use this card.
Yeah, but pushing without a paper towel though, you're kind of you're beating a dead dog because you're pushing water to the edge and you're leaving it there. You got to get that water off the edge. Otherwise, it's going to soak back into your edge. I mean, yes, towels are meant to stop the scratching, but also it's to dry that edge out so you can get full contact. You need to hit your bottom again.
Like in my bottom again? There's an,
Get on the low. Well, no, there's moisture in here. Come on this side. That's all moist.
But there's like a little.
I know, but the only way to get it to lay flat is to get all that water surrounding it out of there.
Okay.
So that would be something where I'll touch up, I'll re-hit that whole edge again, and then maybe I'll bury the paper towel in there to suck the water out, work on my next window, come back, put another paper towel on my card, hit that corner again, because by then the water's out of there, glue's now tacky, and we can actually get it to lay. There's a small little fiber in there too, but that's not something I'd lift for. I would just dry it out, stuff a towel, dry it out, stuff it up.
There's a. How do I fix? Do I cut it?
No, just dry it out. Just shove a towel in there, paper towel like I did. No, don't do that. Just take the paper towel. We still have another window to tint. Here, let go. Let go. I don't need that.
No.
I would leave it toward the point.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Oh, that little tail? Then yes. Work on your next window.
Is it wide?
And let alone you're wiping this window down to tint this window next to it, you're gonna get overspray on this window again. So it's just, you can go ahead and skip that step until you're done with both windows. If I can get this to hold, I'm gonna let it sit there, let it hold, work on my next window. I would re-squeegee that other window. The time between sticking that one and now letting this one just sit freely, you're gonna wanna re-squeegee this again. Rewipe the edge again. No, you just use a dirty towel and just repositioned it. Always a new single towel. If you're about to put film on the window, it should be a new towel wiping that edge. I'm not going to look at you and say, hey man, you're using too much towels, how dare you? I'd rather have a clean window and not have to redo the window again. All right, so when you peel your window, I'm pretty certain that's why there's dirt on the top of your window again. It's because you just drug your hand across the top of this tint without ever wetting it. So obviously, from that point, I'm gonna wet it and then get it halfway, I'm gonna wet it again. But water should always be a part of you peeling that up. Wet your window. Higher. Not, well, I mean, you could angle down, that's fine, but you can spray like this, and I know how far that's going up. You don't have to worry about that overspray, it's not gonna kill you. All right. Next time a little oomph behind it so it peels all the way down.
Alright.
Doesn't have to be much, and obviously it depends on film. Certain film you really have to throw a snap into. Almost all Solar Guards products you do not have to do that. Watch your left side or your right side, you're pushing into the frame, keep it low. It should hang about that much below that bottom unless you're setting it. If you're gonna start unpeeling this stuff, make sure you're not pressing that film up because then it's just gonna crush into your top edge. But if you're just gonna set your edge and yeah, get it lined up, then set, and then you can worry about peeling your plastic off. So, also another easy thing for this, instead of cramming in there, like you can see here, like, all right, if I cut that part out, now it's gonna lay easier. This is gonna flip up. And then also, if you're having troubles with your tint grabbing crap on the side and getting caught up, wet that tint. Now it's gonna slide across those things a little easier. I would take your power squeegee, clear this way, clear that way, take it down the center. And then dry out your top edge. Nope.
Sorry, it's a habit.
I know. I'm just gonna tell you no. Stop right there. That's at the lowest. You don't want to go any lower than that. You just don't want to ever push the film down to have it retract back up on you. Again, these windows, you can get away with it. There's a lot you can do with these windows, and you're not going to have to worry about much, but you should always be installing as if it is a problem window, and keep that technique. Because there'll be times that, there'll be certain windows, like the old foam windows that have that white foam in the edge, that always tend to pull tons of stuff in the windows. That I will not leave like this. I will squeegee it out till it's here, like that far all the way around. I'll cut my film. Those windows, you cannot let your film ever pull up. So I'll squeegee all this out nice and pretty. Then when I cut my film, I'll make sure it doesn't pull up, and then I'll take a paper towel and a squeegee, and I will literally take a new paper towel and I will finish that last 1.5 inches with the paper towel pushing straight in, because that will instantly seal the water out. And I'll do that all the way down to where I don't let any extra water have any chance to come back in the window. It should be right on top of that corner. You shouldn't go into it at all. If you go into it, you're going to leave a gap. Push your, you need to be pushing that against. Yep. Now drag your finger behind. There you go. There you go. All right, now I'm stopping and I'm down taking this. You want to kind of keep it even all the way through. You probably need to put a little more soap in your bottle. You can get to the point where you're at now when you're moving a little faster, which is not a bad thing. That little bit of soap's going to let that tint float for a little longer, because you don't quite have dry spots, but you're really cutting it close on certain spots. There you go. Yeah, so that's where you're getting your contamination from, is how you peel, how you're starting your window, because even doing it that way, a lot less, like significantly less contamination compared to like this. Do you see this one? Yeah. Anytime and it's not even so much you're dragging your hand, you're leaving the top 6 inches of that film completely exposed before putting water in it. Any dust that's in there is landing on that and it's getting stuck straight to it. There you go.
This is way more comfortable.
That too.
Yeah.
I probably should have led with that. To me, it's like hard cards do have their spots, but for me, if you're going to give me a tool that I can either use as a hard card, and then let alone, let's say like an edge has, like say if we did leave our edge completely open and an extra inch of water, I don't have to put paper towel on. I can just wet my window, and then I can slice right over it, and it's a squeegee.
This is like perfect combination because you're leaving like a little bit, and then you're basically squeegeeing.
Mm-hmm. Getting that last little edge out. And like I said, there'll be times, there'll be certain windows where you can't cut and do this because you'll have a dirt line all the way down the edge no matter how hard you try. You have to leave like that much water, squeegee everything out, leave that much water, cut it, and while you're cutting, making sure it never lifts. And then when you finish cutting, you're gonna do that around the entire window with that water there. And then you'll have to switch out the towel more often, obviously, because there's a lot more water, but it stops from any water getting back into your window and drawing any dirt from the edge of the window. Those old white foam, like if you get a house that's like 10 years old and it's double-sided white foam taped in, like those things crumble.
It's cooked.
Oh,
it's
like dust. It's like dust.
Yeah.
So when you leave that edge open and you don't let that suction ever suck water back in from that edge, and you just seal out with that, I'll go around my entire window to where it's like I'm squeegeeing out a good 1.5 inches of water with a towel, but as soon as that water gets squeegeed out, it's being sucked up by the towel. I reposition, reposition, reposition. It seems time consuming to begin with, but again, with more reps, the faster you get with it, and then you don't have to worry about going back, because like your edge is 1,000 times cleaner on this one. Technically both of them. That was good. I'd say the only things I saw you push through this after the fact, that just should have been addressed before we started squeegeeing everything. And that's why it's another reason why I'm saying you need to put a little bit more soap in, because it's not going to trap like that with a little bit more soap in your bottle. Not too much, because then you're fighting it to tack, and you don't want to do that. Jordan, I'll be sending you an invoice for the free lessons you're getting.
Oh, will you? I've got all these lessons before. I got volume 1, 10-year ago edition.
Yeah. That was a shitty installer then.
I got the, from Richard Miller, the Tinting videos.
Did my dad ever show you anything?
Yeah.
God, so long ago, man.
The push it Sally is not a made up thing.
Yeah.
That is a, what are you doing?
Yeah, see, my dad would just tell you to squeegee over and over again. I never liked it, but if anything, because he was like that with me, it made me make sure that I was very efficient and very detailed with my first pass, because I wanted to prove him wrong. I wanted to show that you don't have to squeegee 2-3 times. If you're squeegeeing your window 3 times, your first squeegee sucks like a lot. Like you really got to work on that. You should be able to make 1 pass on a window. Safety film, regular film, I don't care what kind of film. As long as you are doing it very methodical and overlapping, you are technically double squeegeeing your window. But usually where people will mess up is that they try to start going faster and faster, and then they leave water. You can be fast and slow at the same time, as much as that don't make sense. The more detailed and more oriented you are with your squeegee, you don't have to worry about making a second pass. So that time of taking that second pass because you were so just all over the place on the first one is now used up with the fact that you're going to take a little extra time on that first squeegee and make sure it's done properly so you don't got to go back again. When I get done going through your squeegee patterns and stuff, you'll be able to go compete. Like there are plenty of times, I'm not saying I am, I've never left windows like that, absolutely, where all of a sudden I've seen a moisture pocket that's a little too big that I can't push through anymore because it's dried too long. When you got to move and you got to get a job done, you got to move and get a job done. But you should be always trying to strive for if you're competing at all times. See, like the squeegees that you've done on these past 2 windows, like I don't see water in them. You're giving me no reason to look through these and go, hey, what's this, what's that? Like even where it sits right now, which The bottom corners could use a little love, a little drying, but still at the same time, there's nothing that concerns me anywhere else in my plain view to make me go around your entire window and go, what's all this shit? Or why is it rippled here? Why is it rippled there?
I think this is yours.
Yeah. All right, so next time when you're cutting, because that's 100% why you're getting that beveled edge, is you're pushing this into this, and this edge right here is creasing the piss out of that film while you cut.
So it's not even because it's like something beyond there, it's just because...
No, it's because you're cutting too deep, and you're not, there's no reason to be cutting that deep when it comes down to it. Even on darker films, as long as your gap is,
It's just like how... Because that's what I would struggle with a lot, like angling my old film.
So,
And then like Diego and all them, especially Diego, he would be like, you need to cut like this.
all right, well, I'll go over that with Diego. See how my blade is sitting? Like, yes, that's too much because now I have to worry about this bottom edge pushing into this film, and you really just you're putting too much pressure on that film. When it comes down to it, if I angle out, obviously if I go like this, I'm gonna make a bigger gap. Bigger gap.
You should always
Smaller
angle
gap.
out when it's like
Yeah.
wooden frames or
Wooden frames, absolutely.
wooden frames
Yep.
or
Wood frames, I'm angling out.
exterior film.
I would do that too. It just depends on what kind of edge you're on. If you're on a say,
The vinyl where it's like a border. Ricky, why can't you use these?
I don't think that gets enough blade out in my eyes. Like that's not enough. To now I'm crushing my metal into the window. See how much further that goes out
Yeah,
than that?
sometimes I hope like this. I like how it's not so sharp.
That is why you don't want to bury inward like that. That's why we're using this to guide against this window. The same concept is over there, except we're not putting a blade against it, but I'm using that front part of that blade to sit there and push against the vinyl itself. And then I'm making sure that my blade is angled properly to where, yes, if I want to angle out and make a big cut, now I have a nice, clear, concise, big cut on the edge if I really wanted it.
I think with the exterior, like pristine, you should always leave like a gap. I always leave.
Pristine, I would. Pristine, the 70, I would, only because those edges are kind of a pain to dry when it comes down to it. But with like vinyl like that, I take my card, and that's where I will, after I've dried everything out, I'll take a card and I'll put it behind, which I'll show you real quick. But like when I'm cutting this, I'm using this right here, and like I know where my blade is right there. Like I'm still getting the same cut as you when it comes down to it. It's just I'm not burying it in this way and pushing that metal against my film when it comes out. It's gonna happen even worse on this side because that is right there. This side's not gonna happen so much when you do it like that because it's not going to, like that piece of metal, unless you're like dragging it low, then it's gonna do it. But like this side you can get away with it. I'm assuming you always have problems with your right side?
No, I always have problems with this side.
This side?
This is the side that I struggle on the most.
But yeah, that is what I'm doing every single time.
This is I feel like I get better cuts on this.
See how much more harder you squeegee this one out and it's sat for long, how much more glue it left? That's another good test to see if you squeegee out your window hard enough. Especially it being like only this long. The fact that we left this much glue on the window, it means you squeegeed the piss out of that window. That's exactly how it should be every time. All right, you want my subscribers? Do it again.